This is Barry Zalma speaking for Claim School Incorporated with another true crime of insurance fraud video. This one number 64, entitled Profits Are Where You Make Them. On his 50th birthday, Louie concluded he was a failure for 30 years. He had sold insurance to the public. For a $40 commission, Louie would often spend hours explaining a tenant's homeowners policy to a client. The next year, because another broker promised to save the client $5 in premiums, they did not renew. Louie had always been a dedicated and faithful insurance broker. He put his client's interest above his own. If he could save them money, even if it would cost him a commission, he placed them with the least expensive insurer. In return, he saw nothing but derision and disloyalty. Louie decided to change his life now that he was middle-aged and a member of the AARP. Considering his small earnings, retirement at age 65 seemed almost impossible. He needed a means to make sufficient money in a short time to retire. His knowledge of insurance and his salesman's understanding of the greed of his customers brought him a solution. Employ4U was born. Louie went to each of his commercial insurance clients with his plan. He explained that if they allowed him to become the employer of their employees, the cost savings in benefit plans would offset his fee. The business owner's overall employee cost, he explained, would be less. He would charge each customer 3% of the gross salary of each employee and the actual cost of their benefits. For the 3% fee, he would file all employment forms and issue W-4 and W-2 forms, collect from his customers all employment taxes and pass them to the government, fill out all the forms, and give each employee a cafeteria plan of benefits. The employees would be happy and the employers would be happy. The employer would have absolute control over the employees, and Louie would merely be their titular employer. Although the idea sounded too good to be true, 80% of his customers decided to take Louie up on the proposition. Overnight, he was the employer in name of 3,000 individuals. The employees worked in businesses from construction to law offices, from medical offices to manufacturing plants, from convenience stores to security guard services. Since Louie had written the insurance for each of these businesses, he knew what premium they expected to pay for workers' compensation and health insurance. He created a billing system where he added to the salary paid all withholding taxes, Social Security, FICA, health insurance, Medicare, and workers' compensation insurance. He charged 10% less than the normal rate. Employ4U, his business, then applied for and obtained a workers' compensation insurance policy for all of its employees. Louie, being a frugal man, advised the workers' compensation insurer that he had 400 employees all working in a clerical capacity, the lowest workers' compensation rate available. He knew that it was mathematically impossible for 400 of his 3,000 employees to possibly be injured in 1 year. He knew that workers' compensation insurers seldom inspected or reviewed the books of employers they insured. More often than not, they performed their audits on the honor system. The insurer merely mailed an inquiry to the employer and hoped for an honest response. By the simple ploy of underreporting the number of employees and reporting all of the employees at a low-risk category, Louie's workers' compensation premium was $1,500,000 a year less than the combined workers' compensation premium of his various clients. Similarly, as the health insurance, by a judicious manipulation of the application process, Louie could save another $200,000 off the anticipated cost. His new business, Employ for You, became ever more successful. Customers spoke to their friends who signed up with Louie to obtain the 10 to 20% reductions in expenses his employee rental system created. Other than paying the premium that he obtained in advance from each of his clients, Louie's only other expense was issuing paychecks. A payroll service charged him only $300 a month to issue all the checks and repair the reports for him. He paid a bookkeeper only $8 an hour to take care of all the other bookkeeping requirements of his business. Employ for You made more profits in the first 2 months of business than Louie had made in any one of the last 5 years. By the time Louie was 55, he had invested his profits into a portfolio of stocks, bonds, and mutual fund shares conservatively valued at $3 million. The earnings from the portfolio would support Louie in comfort through his retirement. Employ for You's workers' compensation insurer, on receiving Louie's reports of earnings, reduced his premium each year. Louie used the audits to increase his profits for 5 years in a row. Each of Louie's customers carefully protected their employees' well-being, and he only reported 8 claims in the first 5 years. Louie's fraudulent scheme was so successful that he stopped selling insurance. On the 5th anniversary of the business, Louie's 55th birthday, he decided he had made enough money and offered the business for sale to a legitimate employee leasing business. They would earn their money, unlike Louie, on the fees charged his customers and minor savings in premium obtained by the buying power of a company with thousands of employees. Louie took the $2 million he received for the purchase, added it to the cash from the sale of his stock portfolio, and moved it to Kingston, Jamaica. He purchased a villa overlooking the sea and is living out his retirement happily on the earnings of $5 million in tax-free bonds. Louie is and will always be, until he finally passes away, a very happy man living comfortably on the island of Jamaica. This video was adapted from my book, Insurance Fraud Costs Everyone, which is a supplement to my 2-volume treatise, Insurance Fraud, 2nd edition, and my book, Insurance Fraudsters Deserve No Quarter, all of which are available as Kindle books, paperbacks, and as hardcovers. If you found this video to be interesting and you watched it on Rumble, click on the Rumble button, and if you watched it on YouTube, please click on the like button. Thank you for your attention.